How is Volkswagen's famous EA211 engine assembled? First, the engine block is installed. The workers inspect every surface using a mirror to make sure there are no defects. Once everything checks out, the block is placed on the production line. The engine block is upside down at this stage, so the first parts installed are underneath, including the crankshaft, oil pump, and oil pan. The block uses upper and lower crankshaft bearings. Each bearing is made of two semicircular halves that hold the crankshaft in place. Before installing the crankshaft, the lower bearing caps are removed by loosening their bolts. Next, locating pins are installed on the side of the block to help position the side components. At the next station, the bolts holding the lower crankshaft bearings are removed. Because the engine is upside down, the lower bearings are now on top, while the upper bearings are integrated into the engine block. After the bolts are removed, they are cleaned to remove any metal debris left on the surface. These bolts will be reused during the later assembly process. Once the bolts are removed, workers manually take off the lower bearings. Then, oil spray nozzles are installed inside the cylinders. These do not spray fuel, they spray engine oil to help cool the cylinders. Next, the upper crankshaft bearings are installed. They support and secure the crankshaft while also helping reduce vibration. Before the crankshaft goes in, a layer of lubricant is applied to it. The crankshaft must then be lowered carefully and kept level to make sure it sits properly. Once the crankshaft is installed, the lower bearings are installed. One of the crankshaft bearing positions has a larger clearance, so two shims are added there. Do you know why? Now the equipment automatically installs the lower crankshaft bearings. Automated installation greatly improves precision and helps ensure a longer service life. All the bolts are tightened at the same time, which keeps the tightening force consistent. This is difficult to achieve manually. Even one bolt that is not tightened correctly can affect engine durability. And this is one reason a rebuilt engine may not last as long as a factory-assembled engine. After the crankshaft is installed, a test is performed to check the crankshaft clearance. Next, the crankshaft timing sprocket is press-fitted into place. Before installation, the sprocket is heated to around 200 degrees Celsius. This makes the metal expand slightly, making it easier to press onto the crankshaft. This sprocket drives the oil pump. Next, the connecting rod bearings are installed onto the crankshaft. Each bearing is semicircular and works with the other half inside the connecting rod. One end of the connecting rod connects to the piston, while the other end wraps around the crankshaft through the bearing. The connecting rods are now installed, and the tightening process is fully automated. This keeps the tightening force precise and consistent, helping improve engine durability. After tightening, the crankshaft is rotated again for testing. Next, the rear crankshaft flange is installed. It is press-fitted directly onto the crankshaft and connects to the engine flywheel to transfer power. A front flange gasket is installed first. At the next station, an engine vibration sensor is installed. The bolts for the rear flange are then placed by hand, and the equipment tightens them all at the same time. Finally, locating pins are installed for the upper section of the oil pan. This chain connects the oil pump to the crankshaft sprocket. A metal cover is then installed over the sprocket. The tightening equipment works on both sides at the same time. One side tightens the oil pump chain cover, while the other side tightens the rear crankshaft flange. At the next station, this black component is the oil baffle, and the component behind it is the oil pump. This engine uses a variable displacement oil pump. The engine control unit monitors engine speed and load, allowing the system to automatically adjust the oil pump output. After everything is tightened, the oil pump sprocket is installed. The chain underneath connects to the crankshaft sprocket, so the oil pump gets all of its power directly from the engine crankshaft. Finally, another cover is installed. Next comes a metal bracket used to hold the gasoline particulate filter. The particulate filter is installed at the factory, and there is a separate video showing that installation process. At the next station, a robot automatically applies sealant to the engine block before the upper section of the oil pan is installed. This upper section acts as part of the engine oil reservoir. The entire process is automated, and all the bolts around the perimeter are tightened at the same time to keep the tightening force consistent. This greatly improves engine durability and is another reason factory-assembled engines can be more durable than engines that have been rebuilt. A sealing strip is installed along the edge. This is the engine oil temperature sensor. Next, sealant is applied to the upper section of the oil pan to prepare for the lower oil pan. The equipment keeps the sealant application even and consistent. A A repair shop usually does not have equipment this precise. The oil pan is also installed automatically. It includes the drain plug and the engine oil level sensor. After the oil pan is installed, another timing belt pulley is installed onto the crankshaft. This is the factory oil filter, which is replaced together with the engine oil every 10,000 kilometers. At this point, most of the lower engine components are finished. The engine is now flipped over, and in the next part, we will look at how the cylinder head, timing belt, and other components are installed.